Instrumentation on the mandibular, buccal of the fourth, and lingual of the third. First, I need to establish my mirror fulcrum. So a good fulcrum with my mirror hand on the max anteriors. The back surface of this mirror is going to retract the teeth or the cheek. The front of the mirror will reflect the light so that I can reflect light into the area that I'm working in. For the lingual of the third, it'll be the same thing. I'm going to get a good fulcrum on the max anteriors with my hand. The back of the mirror will retract the tongue, and the face of the mirror is going to reflect light into the surface that I'm working on. I then need to make sure that I have the correct working end using our tips to determine the correct working end. Tip pointed interproximal or in between the teeth. If that shank is straight up and down or parallel, then I have the correct working end. I'm going to start on surfaces that are posterior and work all the way up into the 4-5 premolar. I'm going to be as the operator in the 9 o'clock position. So 9 o'clock, sitting at 9, modify pen, starting on the most posterior would be the distal of the 8. So inserting distal line angle, 1 to 2 millimeters of that instrument. And then coming in, vertical strokes. So vertical strokes in between the teeth. So those strokes are up and down vertical. Oblique strokes across the facial or lingual. So oblique strokes are this way across the teeth. Vertical interproximal, so up and down. So I'll show you again. Insert 1 to 2 millimeters of that tip onto the tooth. Activate, rolling into the interproximal, and we roll by rolling that instrument with our thumb and index finger. So rolling into the interproximal, starting again, coming across the tooth at that distal line angle. Oblique strokes, but as I'm coming across the facial, I'm going to start to pivot up on my fulcrum. So from being down, I'm going to pivot up, so that shank will now start to become parallel. So this is going to help me to roll that instrument with my fingers as I get around that mesial line angle, like that. So same thing, inserting distal line angle in the 9 o'clock operator position and working my way. Lingual of the third, same operator position as 9 o'clock, starting on the most posterior surface all the way up into the 3-4 lingual, inserting at the distal line angle, vertical strokes coming across, oblique, and then rolling into that interproximal.